We'd done it again, and by that I mean we had a deadline to meet and a lot of work to get done in a short space of time. What I really wanted was everything to go smoothly, which is exactly what didn't happen. Jane had bought me this fantastic deep mitre box which works wonders with the coving. It was much more suited to the task than the other one I have. Such was my confidence that I made the next cut, climbed the scaffolding and squeezed out the adhesive without offering up the coving to the space. To quote Captain Bertorelli from Allo Allo, "What a mistake to make!" It's possible to cut coving in several ways. An inward corner, which is the most common in a square room, an outward corner for irregular shaped rooms, and a straight cut for shortening the coving length. I cut it completely wrongly, and my piece wanted to point upwards at 45 degrees. To quote Captain Mannering from Dad's Army, "Stupid boy." Second time lucky? Nope, I cut it for an outward facing corner. Why do a job once when you can do it 3 times? I like to get my money's worth. I needed the coving to be finished quickly as there was so much more to get done. Perhaps it was time to start a different and much harder job, removing the self-levelling compound from the floorboards around the doorways. At the end of the week my sister was visiting, as was a film crew from Chateau DIY, and everyone was expecting to see the East Wing guest suite finished. This job wasn't going well either. I kept gouging the wooden floor, which would mean some heavy sanding, so I decided to have a break and do something more fun. I went outside to play with my new tractor and its new attachments. That should be enjoyable, right? Wrong. It's turning into one of those weeks. Everything is being harder than it needs to be. Don't really have much to say other than that's causing me a problem. The big building behind me is causing a problem. And we're on deadline. Well, I can't get either attachment for the tractor attached. The bucket, or ben, as I think it's called in France. It won't fit because the attachments on my tractor aren't long enough. Anyway, it's awkward. I'll have to show it in a video. I'll just cut in here. The support brackets on the lifting arms are in the way. This means they don't quite reach the connecting pins on the ben. Boo. To make it work, I might have to cut a section out of the metal that's there, which, is reinforcing metal. It's possible, I can probably do it, but I don't know how structurally sound the ben would be afterwards. But I'll have a think about it and see. And the gyro broyer hasn't come with 3 pins that I need to attach it to the tractor. And I'm sure these pins are relatively easy. I could probably do it temporarily with some threaded rod and some nuts, which I might have to do if I want to move it out of the way. But until then, they're just staying exactly where they are. So I'm going to put the tractor away now. Maybe I'll have a drive around first. Although maybe I shouldn't. It might break down, knowing how this week's going. Anyway, it's a tough week at the minute.
Rory had been chiselling away for hours, and he was starting to hurt his hands with the repeated pummeling. So I offered to take over, figuring that, although I would be slow, I should be able to help a bit. I hadn't even known which way up I was supposed to hold the chisel. It was incredibly difficult, as the cement was much harder than the wood, yet nearly the same colour, so we were bound to end up damaging the wood in the process. But at least I got some chunks off, and gave Rory a break to play with the tractor for a little while.
Welcome to Jane's Find of the Day with Jane.
Hello and welcome to this week's Find of the Day at Château de Pican. First of all, can you hear the cicadas? Amazingly loud. Today I'm going to be talking about this sweet little thing that I found in the kitchen, one of the kitchen cupboards. And it's a sugar bowl. It has been described as being rococo in design. It is certainly elegant and designed to please the eye and to please the holder. It's got these very lovely rounded contours, sweet little leg details, very fine legs with flowers and leaf sort of motifs suggested. It has flowers at the top on either side of what seems to be a flourish. Sort of looks like it might be a wave, but anyway, I think it's probably an abstract shape rather than being an animal or a plant or a leaf or something. Not quite sure. And this is the way in. So you pull this up and then you're inside. And it looks like silver. It's quite light, I would say. So I wasn't 100% sure if it was silver, but we managed to find it does have a hallmark on the bottom, as well as the sticker. I'll talk about the sticker in a moment. And it says 835, which is 835 silver, so 83.5% silver. So it is made of silver. Ah, there it is. But the sticker is quite interesting because it says mit Anlaufschutz, which appears to mean with tarnish protection. So obviously that suggests the item was either not very old, or if it was old, then somebody subsequently coated it in something to stop it from tarnishing, which is interesting. I managed to find two identical pieces for sale, one in Denmark and one in Poland. The piece in Denmark, they describe it as being from 1890. So I don't know whether this is a reproduction of an earlier piece that's been made exactly the same, or whether they don't really know it's from 1890 at all, they're just guessing. But interestingly, both items have been priced at a very similar level. So what an extraordinary find.
In a week where everything seemed to be going wrong, we had a mural to fit. We definitely didn't want to mess this up. It was a risk we were going to have to take if we were to be ready for filming on Friday.
Not seeming terribly strange. Oh, carry on. You can move it if it's not.
Getting the first piece lined up with the laser was already proving tricky.
So we're still not perfectly straight.
It's not bad. It's hard to tell where I seem to have lost the line. Oh, I'm in the way of the line. Coming away ever so slightly there.
That's the thought.
Only ever so slightly.
Hang on.
After 10 minutes, a couple of failed attempts and a few fraying nerves, we were there with the first piece. Just about.
Okay, so that's right at the edge of the line for me now.
I think we're good. We're good all the way down. So if we get to the bump,
Yeah.
we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I'll deal with that in a sec.
Having already completed a mural in the other room, we thought this one would be much easier. This first piece of the mural had gone over the top of the light switch, so I needed to make a hole.
And I will cut the hole in the mural.
Perhaps our fears were misguided. Once the first piece was fitted, it all got a bit easier. And just like that, the mural was finished. Perhaps the week wouldn't be that bad after all. Jane had bought these decorative edging strips to create a frame for the murals, and we had 26 metres of them to paint. We painted them in batches of 7 or 8. They didn't take all that long to dry, so I was able to get started fitting the frame together almost straight away. The murals and the framing were all Jane's vision, and I think they've turned out really well. We completed it with days to spare. Shame about all the other jobs we hadn't yet started. It's Wednesday evening, and my sister's coming to visit on Friday, which will be Good Friday because it's Easter weekend. The Chateau DIY cameras are coming on Friday, my sister's coming on Friday, and this very boring looking room is actually quite an exciting room. It's just not been decorated and it's looking very plain. It will be the bridal suite if we ever do weddings, which I don't know whether we will or not. We'll see. But they need a bed to sleep in, and so I've got to rebuild the bed. Unfortunately, where the bed goes, I've been storing some plasterboard. So I'm going to try and build the bed over the top of the plasterboard so I can leave it where it is, because it's all sort of temporary. The bed will have to come apart again, plasterboard out, blah, 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 blah. I'd better get on with it. I don't know, it always seems like we're at panic stations. No matter how hard or fast we work, we always end up racing against the clock at the last possible moment. As we seem to be finding out, that's just normal life in the Chateau sphere. The moment that perhaps none of you have been waiting for.
One of the things that really struck me about this is how lovely the operation is of opening it and closing it. It's a little clasp. You just gently push it down and it's firmly down, and it's a little bit stiff to come up, but then it's up. So it's a piece that's been made with a huge amount of care. So whether old or not so old, it's made of silver and it's beautifully rendered. But how much is it worth? Well, the item I saw being sold in Denmark, they said it's from 1890. They offered it for sale at 320 euros. My goodness. But then I saw the same one advertised in Poland for 1400 zloty. And it turns out that also equates to about 320 euros. So if you're in the land of dollars, that's even more dollars than euros. Pounds, it's a bit less. But my goodness, it's really worth quite a lot, it would seem. After an inordinate time restoring the floor in the dressing room, I thought I'd seen the back of the carpet adhesive, but no, there was yet more glue to remove in the bedroom. And a few ants, it seems. At last, we'd arrived at the moment to rebuild the bed.
It's 10 o'clock, and apart from stopping for tea, we've been working all day, so we're quite knackered now. It's dark outside, everybody wants to be asleep, especially us. And tomorrow's going to be a very busy day, trying to get everything ready before my sister and the Chateau DIY cameras come on Friday. Cameras first, early morning, sister around lunchtime, I think. So there's a lot to do. Can we go to bed? It was Socks and Sandals Thursday, which is apparently the day before Good Friday. We had about a week's worth of work to do before the cameras arrived. The next day. Now that the old floor had been revealed, I was creating a wooden edging for the carpet around the doorways. Whilst I did that, Jane was spraying up more of the edging strips for the mural in the dressing room. We will sand and varnish the floor here, but as there are still so many other jobs to do, we won't have time this week. Jane still had adhesive to remove, and I had more edging to fit around the other doorways. Even with a mass of work ahead of us, we were feeling more confident. Perhaps it wouldn't be such a tricky week after all. The confidence wobbled a little when I fitted the ceiling rows, only to discover that there wasn't enough play in the light fixings and everything would need to be extended. But the problem wasn't bigger than me. It just wouldn't be the last problem.
The chandelier hadn't been cleaned in well over a decade, so I dusted it, wiped it and vacuumed it until I'd removed as much dirt and debris as I could.
Ah, yes, and they're all working. Brilliant.
Well done, looks amazing.
It is finished. Time for lunch. This is just about the biggest orange I've ever seen. It's larger than many grapefruit. Well, let's hope it tastes nice. My hand's quite big. The orange was naught but a dried out husk of disappointment.
Relatively late in the day, I had decided to mount 2 large artwork posters on plywood for the guest suite. We rushed to the DIY shop, bought a large piece of plywood, then a saw and a tape measure since they wouldn't cut the wood for us, and Rory cut it down in the shop foyer so we could get the 2 pieces in the car. We then stood in the car park in the rain as Rory informed me that only the smaller of the 2 pieces would fit in the car. I begged him to bend the bigger piece to try to get it in. He said it would snap if he bent it any more, but I insisted he try. This is what we ended up with. Oh dear. Move to plan B.
There was no time to cry over spilt lemons. We still had work to do.
I'd come up with a solution for the plywood disaster. I just hoped it would work.
Meanwhile, I was in flat pack hell. Or heaven, if you like that kind of thing.
So that the guest suite dressing room can be used as a second bedroom for families, I chose a practical piece that can provide 2 proper single beds, or a king-size double bed, or can be dressed as a sofa.
In a last push towards the finish line, I had 3 curtains and rails and 3 blinds to hang.
In the end, I decided to hang the artwork like the murals, and we stuck them to the walls with their frames.
We were exhausted and had run out of time, but somehow we'd done it.
I am thrilled with how the suite has turned out, particularly the colours and the way that the rooms resonate with each other. Turn-of-the-century William Morris curtains and blinds sit well with Monet's water lilies from Giverny of the same period, which in turn echo the lilies in the murals. There are majestic cranes in every room. It looks like a chateau should look. It's beautiful, but also welcoming and comfortable.
As always, if you've watched this far, thank you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch up next time.